The 2004 Bear Stearns Tournament of Champions Squash Championships.
Hello and welcome to the climax of the 2004 Bear Stearns Tournament of Champions here in Grand Central Terminal in New York City. We've got that dream final. John White, the new world #1, playing great squash. He just got crowned British champion about 10 days ago. He beat Lee Beachell, the world #4 in the semi-finals, against Peter Nicol, the ex-1, currently world #2, again playing great squash. Jonathan Power, how do you feel this match going?
Yeah, it's an exciting matchup. The one thing about Johnny is you can never bet against him, but you can never bet on him either. That's the thing. You just sit back and enjoy the squash because he's going to show us some great stuff. And then Peter, he's always solid, and you never bet against him either.
So Johnny White seems to have the upper hand over Peter the last few times they've played over the last 2 years. Do you think that's going to play a part? Is Peter going to be thinking about that tonight?
I think that always plays on a player's mind, you know, when a player's gotten him in the last few times. But, you know, every match is different. Peter seems pretty relaxed. Every court, like you know, is different. It's a bouncy court, and I think it's going to just be a close match. Too tough to call. Yeah.
So we said Peter Nicol, defending champion. He's been in the final the last 4 times he's played. He's won it twice. John White's never been past the quarterfinals here. This is a new experience for him. It's a different kind of atmosphere. You think he's going to be a bit nervous?
That's true. This tournament brings a different vibe, and I know coming into the final here, you sort of get really excited. The crowd gets pumped up, and I think it might get into him at the beginning, but I know a player like Johnny is going to settle in and forget all that once the match starts getting going into it.
Hi, I'm Peter Nicol, the world #1 squash player, and I'm here to show you a few of the rules in the game of squash. Okay, this is the tin. You've got to hit the ball on the front wall above this. Okay, this box I'm crouching in, marked by the yellow lines on the wall, is called the service box. If both feet are out of the box, it's a football. Okay, this line on the front wall is called the service line. If you hit it below this line, it's a fault. These lines are on the top of the court at the boundary lines. Anything outside those lines, the ball's out. Anything in, the ball's good. Play on. This is the area in the middle of the court that's very important to be in control of. In the middle of the court, equidistant from all 4 corners, the person that's standing here is controlling the match. I'm Peter Nicol. Enjoy your game.
The 2004 Bear Stearns Tournament of Champions Squash Championships. Brought to you by Bear Stearns, Guinness, and Melita 1-1.
So tell us, against John White, you've had a tough time over the last couple of years with his style of play. Tell us about it. Are you going to change your tactics this time around?
Yeah, of course. You know, I've been thinking about it every time I play him. The one thing that's difficult with John is I know what I'm supposed to be trying to do, but he plays at such a fast pace and he dominates, or he has done against me, so well. It's almost difficult to take the pace off the ball and slow it down because it doesn't matter. He will still be able to attack you. So I've got a couple of ideas what I'm going to do. I spoke to someone earlier on this week who has a good record against him and told me a couple of gems. So I'm going to be attacking him a bit more and trying to take the game to him, and rather than wait and let him attack the ball. So it's still going to be tough though, because when he's on form, which he is, and he's stepping forward and doing what he wants, it's a case of back to the wall for plenty of the match, and then take your chances when you can.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. Good luck tonight.
Cheers.
John White, you've played great squash the whole of this tournament. You're up against Peter Nicol in a final. Is it a different feeling today?
Well, obviously, every time you step on the court for a final, it's sort of, you know, there's a little bit of nerves that I haven't had for the past few matches, but, you know, I'm going there for the final. There's only 2 of us left, and I'm up against one of the greats of the last 5-6 years against Pete Nicol. So I always look forward to playing him. It's always a clean match, but it's always a hard match as well. But that's one thing you've got to realise when you're going on court, and his mental discipline is very, very good, and I've just got to stick to my game plan that I have done for the last week, and hopefully come off on top.
So I noticed you got a medallion around your neck. Tell us who's inside, what photo's inside there.
It's of my two kids, Tyler and Kira. So I have it, when I'm warming up and during the day, and I stick it on the table in my corner just for that little bit of incentive that I know I've got a few other little mouths and little bodies to look after back home, which is always a good feeling. So yeah, it's my good luck charm.
So back home in Nottingham, it's probably past their bedtime. They won't know how their dad's going to do until tomorrow.
No, the wife's going to set an alarm and get up and watch it on the internet. So then she'll know. She always phones me just after the match, or I'll just quickly phone her to let her know if she hasn't watched it. And but then I get a nice little wake up call. The last couple of mornings I've had a nice wake up call from both kids, congratulating me and Daddy, well done, and this and that, which makes it even better. So it's good. Yeah.
Okay, John, I'll leave it to your preparations. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Martin. Cheers. Thanks.
2004. Peter Nicol of England serving. John White of Scotland receiving. Best of 5 games. Double.
Well, here we go for this great final. New world number 1, John White, against the ex-world number 1, Peter Nicol. Great matchup.
Yeah, it's just pretty interesting start. Peter with a little bit of a lucky shot to get things going. That could be a sign of things to come. Could be his day, but it's certainly early here.
Well, John White, the tall Scotsman in the all black, Peter Nicol in the white headband. Great clash of styles here, Jonathan. John White will be trying to put so much pressure on the ball, using his power.
Absolutely, he's really going to try to take Peter off the tee. Peter likes to really dominate the middle of the court, sit in the middle. And Johnny with his power can really sort of thwart that. And beautiful deceptive shot by White.
Well, at the start of matches, normally the guys are hitting the ball to the back, getting in a bit of rhythm, but the first 2 points of this final, the guys, 2 winning shots.
That's it. That's Johnny's style. I don't know if you could call Peter's shot a winning shot, but it certainly won the point.
Well, speaking of Peter earlier, normally he's tried to contain John. He's tried to hit good length, force him into the back of the court. But it hasn't really seemed to work the last couple of years. So Peter, talking about tactics tonight, said that he might actually try and attack John, take his attack away from him, from John.
That's an interesting sort of theory. I know going into matches with Johnny, I would like to be a little more defensive and let him sort of initiate the pace and use a counter-attack on him. Because he's liable to make a few mistakes on a bouncy court like this if Peter hangs in there and plays tight squash. I think you don't want to give him any opportunities at the front of the court, because that's when White is really dangerous.
Yeah, certainly if you're going to attack against John White, you really got to take the ball into the front of the court with pace, keeping the ball low.
That's right, that's right. And what's going to happen is points like that. He's going to lose concentration, make a silly error, and that sort of credit to good defensive squash and sort of lulling the aggressiveness out of John.
Oh. Well, that boast by John White, clipping the top of the tin, taking Peter Nicol to a 3-1 lead. It's got to be said though, when John White decides to attack and he's playing well, there's not a lot of defensive strategy that can help you.
No, just run and lob and try to stay in the rally as long as you can, because he really is special with his attacking game, like no other player I think out there. That position he just got into right there.
Wow, Peter Nicol's retrieving ability, absolutely incredible.
Oh, that was lazy. Good for the crowd. They let Peter right back into that rally.
I see John White with using the side walls as well as the front wall to change the direction of the ball.
This is a great rally for John early to really get Peter moving and try to take away his speed right from the get-go. Great shot.
Well, as you said, you can't afford to give John White any loose balls.
That's for sure.
Cracked in that forehand
beautiful.
kill. Beautiful shot. Well, I think it bodes well for Peter Nicol that he's moving so well in that last rally. He picked up some incredible balls.
He did, but he doesn't want to be on the wrong end of too many of those rallies because you can't keep doing that all match without getting too tired. That's a good length.
Great width and length from Peter Nicol.
4-3.
Jonathan, tell us about this glass court. The ball really seems to stick to the side wall.
That's probably the most beneficial thing you can do on the court is really stick it to that side wall. It's difficult to pick it clean off the side wall and play a good defensive shot. It usually goes into the middle if you get it back at all.
Well, both players settling in here, playing a great rally, putting great length on the ball, getting the ball to the back of the court, but John White.
5-3.
Okay.
Well, we'll let him off for
forgive
that one.
there. That's for sure.
6-4.
Well, as the score stands at 6-4 to Peter Nicol in the first game, I'm very lucky to be joined by a young squash player. Dylan, you're 8 years old, and I hear you're the best in the country for your age.
Yes.
So, well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Who would you say your favourite player is?
I like Peter Nicol, Jonathan Power. I like a lot of players because this is only my second pro tournament watching, so
Wow.
I only know a couple.
Well,
players.
it must be great to watch these guys in full
Yeah.
flow. So, do you have a favourite for tonight?
I think I want Peter Nicol to win tonight.
So, would you say that your game is more like Peter Nicol or like John White? So, you like power play or positional play?
I think it's more like Peter Nicol because I like to play more up front than
Right, okay.
back.
Well, he's not a bad player to copy. He was the most successful player of his generation.
Yeah.
So, well, Dylan, we're going to get back to the game. Good luck with your squash, and thanks very much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Well, Jonathan, one of the future champions of the sport, perhaps in a few years' time.
There you go. I think it'd be nice to see a young American to come through at the top of the game in the professional ranks. We haven't seen that yet, and I know playing tournaments here for years since I was about 12 years old. They're certainly waiting for one. So let's hope it'll be young Dylan there.
Well, the game growing so quickly in the United States. With all the different coaches that are here, a lot of money being put into the sport. Wouldn't be a surprise to get a champion in about 10 years' time.
Certainly not. They are investing a lot of money and time into the sport, and John White is really just having an awful game. He's having a tough time settling in, and I think hopefully we can look for him to find his rhythm maybe in the second game, because this first one seems to be slipping away.
Oh, John White just hitting two boasts into the tin. I think he's struggling to get Peter Nicol off the tee here, away from the centre of the court.
Yeah, I think the court fosters that. This court has a very bouncy, spongy rubber floor, and I think it sits in the middle of the court and comes back into the middle of the court a lot of times. So I think that might play to Peter's advantage. Beautiful shot there.
Well, Peter Nicol, a great athlete, but over the last couple of years, Jonathan, he's really added a lot of shots to his game. He's got a lot more variety in his game than he used to have.
Absolutely, yeah. He's really worked hard on all aspects of his game and transformed his game really into more of an attacking player, where he was the ultimate defensive player early in his career, and sort of just kept layering that and getting better and better every month. That's a beautiful winner.
Well, that's a great attack from John White.
And out 5-8.
Takes him back to 5-8. I would say the two shots either side, the two kills either side, are probably John White's favourite shots.
Absolutely, that straight hard kill. He just winds up with that big swing, and you get back on your heels, and before you know it, it's bounced twice in front of you. Just lays it down so nicely. Here it comes again. No.
So this is a crucial time for John White. 8-5, 5-8. Really can't afford to lose any more points at this juncture.
No, you really don't want to slip behind 4 or 5 points, because it's a long way back and physically very taxing to come back from that kind of deficit.
Well, we see John White there just playing the ball when he probably could have stopped for a stroke. Do you think that's a tactic, or is he just trying to get into his rhythm? Or?
Yeah, I thought he passed up an attacking opportunity there too, which is unlike him, but maybe that's in direct relation to a few earlier mistakes in this game.
Oh, great straight play from both players here.
Yeah. So far, it's been a pretty clean game. These two players, John White being so tall and tough to get around, and Peter being so dominant in the middle of the court. They seem to be finding their way around each other nicely. Well, see how that plays out.
Well, I think, irrespective of the physics of things, these guys have got great respect for one another.
Oh yeah, these two are both latter stages of their career, competing against each other for a good 10 years, so they know each other inside out. There is a mutual respect there.
So people talk about the new group of players that are coming through, like Kareem Darwish and James Willstrope, Gregory Gauthier, but in the semi-finals there was yourself, Peter Nicol, John White, and joined by Lee Beachell. It was really the old school that was in the semi-finals.
That's right. We're still hanging in there, but you know, the young guys are going to come through and they're going to get some wins, but they're not going to push the old guys out of the tour too quickly. I think they're going to have to fight their way through them for a year or two,
yeah.
and then before they get settled in there at the top of the rankings.
Oh, they got to earn it, eh?
They'll get there. There's no question about it. But they do have to put in their time. Squash, it just doesn't come overnight. You're just not going to take over players like Peter Nicol and John White just overnight.
Or yourself, for that matter.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about myself. I'm shame spiraling right now, so. Nothing good to say about myself.
Well, the last few months, Peter Nicol doesn't seem to have been in the best of form. Really has had a lot of strange losses. He looked as though his motivation was waning a little bit, but last couple of events, he won in Kuwait, and obviously in the final here, he's back to where he used to be.
You know, the key with Peter has always been his movement, like a lot of players. But if he's moving well, it's going to be very difficult for any of these players to outplay him and outmaneuver him long enough to win an entire match. But I think he went through a patch where he's struggling a little bit with his body, getting tired, playing a lot of tournaments, and he lost maybe a little bit of mobility. And that's why he had a few losses. And also mentally so taxing. Oh, that was a brutal call there by the referee.
Well, I think that's the first decision the referee's had to make, and I think we all agree it's probably the wrong one.
Certainly from this vantage point it was the wrong one, and I don't think Peter's too happy about it, but it's nothing new to this sport, that's for sure. It's a very ambiguous sort of position these referees are in.
Oh, John White was trailing by 4 points, 8-4 down, back to 7-8, and helped along by that decision.
Yeah, and that was a big point.
Oh, John White really hitting great length now, throwing Peter to the front of the court.
Well, good get.
Oh, what
Great
a rally.
get. Oh, this is first class
This
stuff.
incredible attack and incredible retrieve.
White had the stroke there.
He had it was his shot to hit it and just clipped the top of the tin.
Great rally though.
But I mean, how many great shots, how many winning shots does he have to hit to actually win the rally against this guy? Peter Nicol picked up 3 or 4 incredible balls.
Almost clean winners against any other player on the tour, and Peter's fantastic retriever. You just got to keep doing that to Peter time and time again, and it's going to take its effect like it does on everybody.
Oh,
Gentlemanly called by White.
Well, I think the ball might have been up, but John White just carrying the ball in his racket. Seems to be an Australian sin to carry on the rally if you skip the ball.
Yeah, a lot of the players don't necessarily call that, but you're right. It is an Australian trait to not play that one.
Yeah.
I know the Aussies are always blaming the English for actually playing that one, so they can't go ahead and play that themselves if they're going to be calling the kettle black.
Well, John White, even though he's representing Scotland now, the country of his father's birth, he actually grew up in Australia, from Alligator Creek in Townsville, northern Australia.
It's about as Australian as you're going to get. Wrestling crocodiles at the tender age of 4.
Well, I'd say he's probably one of the more international stars from Townsville.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely...
Well,
great rally.
Both players using the width of this court to put so much pressure on.
Yeah. Really taxing their opponent. Great width.
Well, John White playing that one again, 8-10.
Still hanging in there, keeping close here.
Well, it plays on your mind a little bit if you actually don't take the lead at any point. And John White's definitely a confidence player. He loosens up when he's in the lead. He can obviously hit amazing shots, but it's a lot better to have a 2 or 3 point cushion to play that kind of attack and squash.
Certainly is. It's going to make him play a more defensive style, like you said. And doesn't suit him. That's how he has to play if he wants to get back into this first game.
Well, Peter Nicol just walking around this court, dropping the ball, lobbing the ball, reading the game so well. Doesn't look under any pressure at all, John.
No, he's really moving smoothly to all these balls. And the thing about Peter is you play a great shot and he replies it with such a great shot. Get out of trouble.
Well, it's a sign of a great squash player and a great mover to have the ability to do that.
Absolutely. It's the right call there. Just a little bit too big of a swing by White, and it came out on him to the middle of the court.
Well, that hands the lead, well, a 3 point lead back to Peter Nicol. Oh, John White gets his stroke at last.
Yeah, giving right back finally.
Jonathan, how much would you say a good start is important at the start of every game? As in getting into a good rhythm, getting a 2 or 3 point lead at the start of every game.
Yeah, it just lends, like you said, to like a confident style of play. If you get the early start, then you can feel your short game a lot quicker. You can feel your attacking shots a lot quicker in the game. It's going to take a lot more effect on your opponent later on in the game because he's going to have done that much more running because your control has been good from the get-go.
Well, Peter Nicol at 12-9. Taking control of this match, taking control of this final against John White of Scotland. And from talking to one world champion, Jonathan Power, to another ex-world champion, the most successful player of our generation, if not probably any generation, actually. And we're very lucky to talk to Sarah Fitzgerald. Sarah, welcome.
Thanks, Martin. It's nice to be here. And that was a very nice thing to say. Actually, there's Heather Mackay that's actually had the most amazing record in the women's game. And it's just nice to be a part of that group. But there's a few women that have actually had fantastic records. There's Heather and Michelle Martin and Susan Devoy. So it's nice to be a part of that.
Well, squash seems to produce these great champions. It's not a sport that has a different winner of a world championship every single year.
Yeah, I think I think what every player goes through is obviously a learning process, and then once you've won it once, you tend to have this determination that you want to do it again, and I think you have a desire to be that champion again, and everyone manages to hold on. That's certainly been the frame in the women's game. The men has changed around a little bit in the last few years, but when the women have won it once, they have tend to stick there for a couple of years.
So as well as being a very physical game, squash is obviously has a huge mental factor as well.
Absolutely. It is a huge mental factor, and I think that is the thing that creates the champions, is once you've won it once, you tend to do it again and again, and it's just strength of mind. And I guess it's the inner belief you get. If you are winning championships, you tend to believe, and that ends up putting a bit of a controlling factor over your opponent, because they know they have to work so hard to beat you on, to get that win up over you.
So looking at tonight's match, Peter Nicol against John White, the ex-number-1 versus the new number-1.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see this match going?
Well, I'm actually swaying towards Johnny a little bit tonight. I just think he'll be up for it. Obviously, he's probably got a few things to prove. And, I do actually... Well, actually, as you said, it's game ball here.
Well...
It is game ball. But
well,
I actually think Johnny will still come through and win. But I have known to be wrong, that is for sure.
Well, Peter Nicol standing at 14-10 game ball in this first game.
No, he's
and
got
a
it.
beautiful deceptive boast from Peter Nicol. Takes the first game, 15-10. Okay, well, here we go for this second game, the final of the Tournament of Champions. Peter Nicol taking that first game 15-10 in 28 minutes.
Yeah, he played very steady and really didn't give John much opening to hit his winning shots. And I think it's frustrating John. That's what we're used to seeing. There it is. Jump up on that. Up the pace.
Well,
he needs to really up it.
I think that's what he needs to do. You're right. He needs to be serendipitous in the front of the court. He needs to take chances so he can use his reactions and how well he reads the game to step up on his opponent and like he did there and get onto the ball early, play the winning shot.
Exactly
right. As he did there again.
Beautiful, beautiful. He needs to create open style of squash, like boasts and attacking hard cross courts, and really force Peter to hit the ball up.
Yeah.
Because when Peter hits the ball up, then Johnny can jump across and go for his winner. So.
Yeah, right.
But you need to up the pace to a very high level to be able to do that against Peter, because his footwork's so good, getting behind the ball.
Well, John White didn't quite get his rhythm in the first game, rather. And that seems to be the problem as well, is that he's attacking for 2 points, playing great shots, and then just punctuates it by playing a very loose loser into the tin.
Yeah.
But that's the way he plays, I suppose.
That's it. You got to take the good with the bad. You're going to play that attacking. Like, he really takes such high risks in his style of squash play that you're bound to make that many mistakes. Peter Brave boasting Johnny up to the front. I don't like to send Johnny up to the front of the court because he's so powerful and deceptive.
Well, John White's starting to use the angles to put a lot of pressure on Peter.
Yeah, and that's what like we said, he needs to do. Open up the court, really twist turn Peter. take him out of his comfortable rhythm that he found so easily in the first game.
Well, Jonathan, a lot of the time watching Peter, it's difficult to tell how he's actually winning the points.
Yeah.
But it's a question of quality. He just seems to hit that extra length, just tight to the wall.
He just does everything well. Nothing he does is spectacular, but he's a spectacular mover.
Yeah.
But it's very subtle. Everything that he does is just so smooth, and like any great sportsman, he makes it look easy, and like that, very beautiful touch drop shot.
Yeah.
Didn't look spectacular. Like when Johnny hits a clean winner like that, we all kind of go, "Ooh!" Peter hit a beautiful nick, and crowd hardly moved. Just the way he goes about it.
Well, he's a quiet champion, but an incredible one at that.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, there was a time when you started your rivalry that you really had the ascendancy over Peter. You beat him about 6 times in a row.
Yeah, I'd gone through 2 patches in my career where I beat him about 6 times in a row, and each time I got the upper hand and really figured him out. He reinvented himself and became, I don't know if he studied tapes or just went back to the drawing board and really redeveloped his game, and it's to his credit, and came back and reversed it on me the following year. So we've been going back and forth for a lot of years now. Beautiful shot by John White.
Well, it's probably a testament to his rivalry with you that he actually developed his attacking game. You realize he probably had to.
Yeah, we've all had to. We've all had to change our game. I've also had to sort of be a little bit more patient with my game in order to sort of stay with him. So I mean, we've pushed each other along over the last decade of sort of fighting for the top spot in the world, and I think we've really improved. I know in our squash games, and I think all the other players around us have had to go with it, and they've really improved.
Well, it was an incredible rivalry, and hope it continues for another couple of years at least.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Oh, John White. Taking the ball out of the air there. Actually, it didn't. That shot from Peter Nicol didn't even seem to be particularly high. He just flattened the ball cross court into the nick.
Such a high risk shot, but he did it with such ease.
Oh, John White holding the ball for as long as possible, using the strength in his forearm to change direction.
Oh, that's lazy footwork. See, White had he had a great advantage with a good drop shot, forcing Peter to lob, and he didn't move his feet on that back end, played it to the middle of the court where Peter was able to play that winning shot. Just got to get his feet moving quicker and really up the pace if he wants to stay with Peter here.
Well, I suppose if you've got such great ability with the racket and such a strong wrist that you do sometimes get lazy with your feet.
That's true, absolutely. He certainly can compensate, if anybody can compensate.
Oh, see John White.
Ooh, just cracking
different spins in the ball, using a little bit of top spin and side spin to keep the ball close to the wall. This is incredible pressure from John White here. But Peter Nicol hanging into this rally.
And picking up those great shots of John with such ease. It's really amazing.
Well, this rally's turned around. One player in control, then the other. Oh, John White, just great opportunity. He'd played a great rally, then just stuck it in the tin.
Yeah.
Gives Peter the lead in this second game, 6-5. These are when the players have played great rallies at the start of a game. These are very important points. You always just want to get a 2-point cushion on your opponent, especially John White, as we've said, he's a confidence player.
Yeah, especially when you're down 1 love, you really want to assert yourself in the second game. You certainly don't want to go down 2 love in this final here. I know it sounds like stating the obvious, but it's a long way back with a player like Peter from Two Love.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference between Peter Nicol and John White, is that when Peter gets a lead, he consolidates by not so much attacking you, but actually by saying,
Containing.
You are really going to have to work hard to get any more points off me.
Exactly. He makes you earn every point out there.
Well, a lot of these situations, John White's hitting loose balls. Peter probably could shape up and try and get a stroke out of it, but very fair player.
He's content to keep moving him. I don't know if he's looking to be overly fair right now. I think he just wants to keep Johnny moving and
Right.
keep the pressure on.
It's a tactic.
It's a tactic. I know if it gets to 13 all, Peter will be pulling out the stroke.
Yeah.
But at this stage of the game, he wants to keep him moving, just like he did there.
This rally again has everything. John White using corkscrew lobs, top spins, drop shots. Peter Nicol hanging in this rally.
That's a bit of a feed to...
Oh,
That looks a little bit tired, Martin. Didn't you think he didn't go down?
he didn't really bend his knees. He kind of...
Yeah, he really had to go get that ball, and he looked a little complacent in his retrieving there.
Well, this is a huge part of the match. John White, 1-love down, 7-5 down. If he lets any more points go here, it's going to be a long road back. Like he did there, just a silly shot into the middle of the court, giving Peter Nicol the stroke.
Yeah. Bit of a brain cramp there. Such a crucial situation.
Well, again, we see Peter Nicol playing that shot. Could have stopped, asked for the stroke.
Yeah. Sometimes, I don't know, you don't want to test these referees. Sometimes it's better to just play the ball. It's one thing that we haven't seen in this match at all is many calls. So
Oh, both players have a lot of respect for each other. They both try and play a very clean squash.
not a lot of pushing and shoving, though. I mean, both of these players have been known to be able to throw their weight around and get in the way, but
I don't think it's their preferred style of play. I think they've got the ability to do that. They're great squash players. They can play any tactic, but both players prefer to play very clean squash. I suppose that's a belief thing as well. They believe in their own game.
yeah. Great shot. Oh, you kidding me?
Peter Nicol with some great retrieves in that last rally. Just tried to play a backball both. Hitting it far into Vanderbilt Hall, hitting the ball far into Vanderbilt Hall, almost hitting one of the chandeliers. I don't think the manager at Grand Central Terminal would be too pleased about that.
No, it's got to be some kind of a fire hazard. Everything seems to be a fire hazard in this place. So let's see if John can claw his way back into it. He's falling down again here in the second game. Great tight length.
Oh, Jonathan, what do you think John White has to do to gain control of this match?
He's really got to up the tempo in his feet. His footwork is just not quick around the tee or quick to the front. He's got to use all his energy to try to up the pace. I know it's going to take a lot out of him physically, but that's the only way he's going to be able to sort of get on the offense here against Peter. like stuff like that's just not going to do, letting Peter back into the rally.
Well, Peter Nicol's movement is absolutely incredible today.
Yeah. To be fair to him, he hasn't really played a match all week, which is
well, it
is
makes
nice.
a big difference in the final of an event, especially the final of a 32 draw. Both these guys having to play 4 matches against the top professionals in the world to get to this stage. Well, the crowd showing their appreciation to both players for such a great rally. And it ends in a let. Well, there's a voice from the crowd. Come on, Watty. An Australian accent. Even though he plays for Scotland now, he still has his Australian supporters, Jonathan.
Absolutely. I don't know how he does it. He's such a nice guy that he manages to sell out his country and still maintain all his fan base. Fantastic guy, though, John White. It's just a tribute to what kind of a
great
giving character he is.
Obviously, great diplomatic skills as well he possesses.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's something that has come out of John White's climb up the rankings, finally getting to world #1. Is that I think that a lot of the players on tour, his peers, have got so much respect for him. They're very happy for him to have achieved that in his career.
Absolutely. I think he's putting in his time. He's always been one of the most talented players out there, and it's finally all come together for him. You know, he's been close so many times, and it's great to see because he certainly deserved it. He's played some good squash over the last 2 years.
Well, John White in a winning position there, rolled his wrist over, try and hit a very deft forehand cross-court drop shot, but just clipping the top of the tin.
I think that's been a very good corner for Peter in this match so far. He's really been winning a lot of points in that front right corner. John is just not getting down to the ball.
Well,
Peter going for it again.
Well, one of Peter's favourite areas where he does construct a lot of his points. Front right-hand corner. He's just got a great technique. He pushes the ball in there so well.
Yeah, really drags you all the way up there.
So you've played Peter, what is it, 37 times now?
Yeah.
Would you say that he's got any weaknesses at all? If there's one area of the game that you could pick, what would you say?
His weakness would definitely, I mean, it's such a minimum weakness. It's deep on the backhand is where you want to get him to. He doesn't really turn his shoulder and drive the ball from deep on the backhand. But his feet are so quick that he can get his feet behind it and get the ball to the back. But if you can really get him reaching like that, he hits the ball up. And then you can really start attacking him and moving around. But very tough to create positions with Peter.
Well, I'm sure everyone out there will be very interested to hear that piece of wisdom there from Jonathan Power. I mean, I suppose if you'd played him 36 or 37 times, you should know his weaknesses by now.
Yeah, I mean, like you keep a weakness comes up and you exploit it as much as you can, and then he changes his game again, and he strengthens that weakness. It's like a Tiger Woods. He makes his weaknesses his strengths, and he's basically become very well-rounded and not a whole lot of dents in that armor there.
Well, as we're talking here, we've probably got one of the most important points of the match so far. John White clawing his way back. It was 10-6 down in this game. Pulling it back to 9-10, but Peter Nicol with a beautiful cross-court drive. Jonathan, I thought that was a huge point.
Yeah, absolutely. That was crucial for Peter to keep that cushion.
If he can really pin John back, take this second game, I'll find it very difficult to see John White coming back.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with you there. That was a Interesting volley. I think he caught the corner there and just died short on Peter. Caught him by surprise.
It's let 10-11.
There it is.
Oh, huge
Ties
point.
it up. I think the crowd likes to see that. Could have a game on her hands now.
Well, John White has been searching for the lead in this match, and at least when it matters, not right at the start of the game, but to get a lead to go into at the end of a game is a huge boon for him.
There it is.
Forehand killed, almost from the back of the court, almost from behind them, Jonathan.
Yeah, that was a very awkward position. It caught Peter by surprise, and it was absolutely perfect. Again. Oh, I wanted to see him crack it again.
Well, tries one on the backhand as well.
Oh,
Peter Nicol stepping up the court.
really
So strong.
really putting the pace on it.
Oh, this is a great rally. Both players attacking.
The pace has just jumped about 10 notches here.
Oh, it's a great squash. John
Oh.
White going for the
Great
three-ball
lob.
post, Nick. Oh! What an opportunity he had. What a great rally. One of his favourite shots, the cross-court volley, Nick. Just clips the top of the tin.
Devastating. You can see the disappointment on his face. He worked so hard in that rally. Gets the clear winner. Shows his frustration by punching the front wall.
Yeah. I think the people watching through the front wall will be quite intimidated by that sight.
For the camera again, got a shot or two of that one.
Wow, Peter Nicol using every dimension of this court.
It's a great shot. Oh,
And again.
It's like he's
setting up a perfect opportunity, just punching it into the tin. Handing Peter Nicol
winners.
Well, they should be clean
They
winners.
should be. Yeah,
but
they're just sitting there for him, and I know it's eating at him right now.
Well, Peter Nicol.
Is that the Monica Seles grunt from
Oh,
Peter there? What happened?
Monica Sailors or Jimmy Connors. one of
Jimmy
the- one of the
Connors, that
two.
maybe. Should have a look. It's more like Jimmy, you're right.
Maybe we can get a replay and have a little quiz with the folks back home. The big man, the big Scotsman, John White, pulls it back to 13-all. Well, I wouldn't exactly say that was an unforced error, Jonathan. There was, Peter Nicol was really
Fully
stretching
stretched.
for that ball.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's fully stretched.
Oh, and again, every single time he plays a great rally,
Just
he
a-
takes his chance and punches it into the tin.
So like a brain freeze there. It's like he had too big of a gulp of a Slurpee or something. Just don't know. 13-all. You just don't make mistakes like that.
Well, I think it's also a testament to the fact that Peter Nicol is keeping this ball low. He's not giving John any height from which to hit down on the ball.
Which he likes to do. Good point.
There we go.
That's
there
a great shot.
Exactly what we're talking about. John White, when he gets the chance to hit down on the ball, you got to get on your running shoes.
That's right. That's right. And he really got a good angle and came down really hard on that shot.
Well, the crowd are loving this.
Johnny taunting Peter to call set one. Probably feeling the fatigue of this tough second game.
Well, Peter Nicol going for 3, but picking off a winner there. Maybe he should have gone for 1.
Yeah, in retrospect, 1 would have been the call, but maybe he wouldn't have had the guts to go for such a bold drop shot. So you can never go back in time, unfortunately. Oh, the pressure is high here.
Great pressure of John White. Reaching
Great
across
reach.
the court.
Oh, yeah.
And again, hitting down on the ball.
Oh,
What
that's
a
gorgeous.
Great couple of shots from John White. Using the width of the court to such great effect. Throwing the ball across the court, making Peter stretch from one side to the other. Great rally.
Great. He does that so well when he's playing well, John, is what he does is he does 2 or 3 shot combinations. He really hits one attacking shot, forces the weak reply, and then keeps the pressure on with another attacking shot. Just anticipating the reply of his opponent.
Well, it's a lot to do with how well he reads the game, Jonathan.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a great sense.
Do you think that sense is kind of intuitive, or do you think you learn that as you go along?
Well, it's definitely intuitive to some extent because some players have it more than others. And it's certainly also learned by many hours of practice that we all put in.
Oh. John White again! John White playing a great rally, but for the 4th time in 7 or 8 points, he creates opportunity and sticks it into the tin.
It's really, I'm dumbfounded. This is such a crucial point so many times in this game. He's made the easy shot into the tin.
Well, if John White gets away with this game, I'll be amazed. Peter Nicol is looking so casual.
Especially for a situation like this where it's so intense, the pressure's so high. Game ball to go up 2-love in this final here. Oh, take that opportunity, John.
Yeah. John White at an open court.
At the open court, and he knew the referee wasn't going to give him a stroke. You really got to take that opportunity.
Oh, great retrieving from John White, throwing his body into the front corner.
Tremendously powerful movement up there.
Well, Peter hit slightly loose.
That's where he wants to get him, in that
Yeah.
back left, back right corner.
Oh. And again, Peter Nicol plays a beautiful backhand drop. John White gets onto the ball, but again sticks it into the tin. Gives the second game to Peter. Peter Nicol leads 2-0.
Well, good start there from Peter. a good start will finish John White here early in this third game. Because mentally he's coming back all the way.
Well, as we heard earlier, Peter Nicol has only lost twice in the whole of his career from 2-love up. But if anyone can do it, John White can. John Power, what do you think of his chances here?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not going to happen, Martin. I'd like to see it happen. I really believe that he'd be the one person that could make it happen, but Peter's playing real steady, and John's going to be very disappointed losing that close second game. Tough to come back.
Well, the shape of the game is quite similar to when John White played Lee Beachell yesterday. It was quite an easy first game. Second game was crucial, and Lee Beachell just got pipped by John, which proved to be crucial. Well, again, John White heading the ball into the tin, giving Peter a huge start in this third game. 4-love up. We're very lucky to be joined by ex-world number 2 and semi-finalist in the USSRA Teaching Pro Championships, Brett Martin. Welcome.
Thanks, Martin. Yes, I think Johnny's in for a tough time now. He's dug a bit of a hole for himself, and he's going to have to really work Peter to get out of it, I think. He's been playing well, but I think he's just let a few crucial balls hit the tin where he should have, if they went up, that second game could have gone the other way.
Well, he's clawing his way back up to 2-4. John White, the style of his game, it seems kind of similar to the way that you played back at the zenith of your career. Would you say that you had an influence there?
Well, we used to practice together twice a week for years, and my game actually started falling apart when he left to go overseas. So I lost my #1 training partner, and we probably traded a few of these hard rallies in our time, but
well, it's not a bad education for a young player to have to play you as a training partner.
Well,
so Brett, you're based in the States right now. You're coaching.
Yeah, I'm in a place called Southport in Connecticut, which is not far from New York, and there's a lot of kids playing here. There's a lot of good programs over here, and hopefully we'll start producing a few decent kids soon.
So how does the coaching life compare with the life on the PSA Tour?
Well, it was good to get back out on the glass court again the last couple of days. That's one thing I missed, the tough matches and building up for the competition. But there's certain other things that sort of you don't miss so much, the travelling and being away from home all the time, living out of a suitcase. It drains you after a while.
Well, Brett, how John White just clawing his way back, gave Peter Nicol a 7-2 start, back to 3-7. It's not a good sign for him, really.
No, he's. You don't want to give Peter too much incentive to run harder, because he will.
Well, Brett Martin, thanks very much, and good luck with your coaching career.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, joined by one of our special guests. You're becoming a bit of a regular at Grand Central Terminal here. Olivia Blatchford, welcome to the commentary box.
Thank you.
I think in a couple of years you're going to be joining me here. Is that right?
Definitely see you there.
So how do you see the match going tonight? Peter Nicol, obviously a great start.
Yeah. Well, John is hitting a lot of tins and errors, and Peter's just running for the ball everywhere, and he's getting a lot of points by John's errors. So I think it might go to Peter today.
So how is your squash game these days? I hear
very good.
You're #2 in the States right now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Fantastic. And you're obviously learning from watching these guys play.
No, definitely, yeah. Learning a lot.
So out of the guys that you say, whose style of play do you like the most? Who plays most like you?
It's hard to say. Because I'm working on my game right now, my strokes are changing, so in the middle, I think all the players kind of resemble me in a way.
It's a transitional time for you.
Yeah, a lot.
Well, Olivia, good luck with your squash.
Thank you.
Well, Olivia, a very special guest.
Yeah.
Comes every year with her father Peter, and not to forget her sister Georgia, who's also a very keen squash fan.
Very astute assessment of what's happening out there too for such a young lady. And certainly not much gets past a
little
sharp
bit
girl like that.
Quite precocious.
Wish I knew what that meant.
Well, I think that's what you were when you were younger, Jonathan.
Really? They called me a brat.
Oh, John White rallying his way back into this match. But just sticking the ball into the tin, another Bose tin, giving Peter an 11-5 lead in this third game.
This game's going quick. The rallies aren't nearly the same quality they were in the first two games. I think John's defeated mentally, maybe even a bit physically. It's disappointing, I think, losing that second game. And
and again,
you can see it's all negative thoughts are entering into his game. He doesn't miss those shots normally.
Well, do you think one of the reasons that he is going so close to the 10, he is making so many mistakes because of Peter Nicol's great retrieving today?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the court's very, very bouncy, and Peter's moving exceptionally well. So those two put together, it's just a deadly combination, I think, for Johnny, because I think Johnny might have been hoping Peter didn't get up there, being down 12-5, but valiant effort, but not quite good enough.
Well, as the towel boy comes on, cleans up the sweat. Very important job in this arena.
Absolutely. I know I started as a towel boy at one stage in a big tournament, so hopefully there's a long squash career ahead for that young gentleman.
Oh, John White, 6'11".
I thought he was more like 6'2".
Well, you're right. What's John White's movement? It just seems a little bit ragged. Just not getting into position as well as he should do. But great forehand drop shot. But Peter Nicol smiling at John White after that attempted retrieve. He doesn't look too worried about this.
No, he shouldn't be. Oh.
Well, a couple
never
more
say
points.
Never. I think if he gets to 10, Peter might start to tense up here.
Well, there is that kind of reverse pressure when you had a big lead, and
that's right. The guy starts to creep back. I mean, you start to feel the choke. We've seen it in so many other matches and so many other sports. You give that guy a sniff of a comeback, and
well, you start feeling as though you have to do something special to win the point. The best thing you can do in that situation is just to
ride
it out.
Yeah.
Play the game that got you to that stage already. But John White playing a great rally, taking the ball so early. Hitting the ball tight to the wall.
Hanging on.
Well, this is interesting. John White clawing his way back. 9-12. He's back in this game.
Exactly. Peter needs a cheap point here, like a quick stroke to really regain his confidence. Maybe a...
Well, the crowd really getting behind John White in that last rally. They want to see this game continue.
Absolutely. It's been a very high-level squash game. We'd all like to see more. So whether Johnny has... Oh, he gets the bounce! Come on!
Well, you just said that Peter Nicol needed a lucky shot, but the luck goes to John White.
Absolutely. Apologizing there,
Well,
but
I don't think it's very sincere.
no, no. Peter opening up the court with a cross-court nick.
Oh.
Peter's tactics just going out the window there, and John making him pay. Great to see.
Well, like you said, Peter Nicol was looking for the cheap point.
That's right.
Went for the cross-court nick. Didn't get it. Lost the point. John White, huge comeback. Another loose shot from Peter Nicol.
Was it 12-6? Where's it coming from in this game?
It was at least 12-7. I think he's got at least 5 points. Actually, we just had a statistic. John White has won the last 6 points. That's a huge run, especially against Peter Nicol.
Oh.
Well, the crowd on their feet. John White is not going to let this match go. Oh. Oh, Jonathan Power.
For the love of God.
Your new company's logo is Dive Guy. I think
yeah. Gonna sign him up, I think. It's gorgeous.
Well, the crowd cheering at the referee's decision.
Fans reacting to that instant replay up on the big screen there. Fantastic dive. I think he started from the tee.
I think he started from the other side of the court.
He flew a good 10 feet.
I think that must be some kind of record.
That is. That's got to be.
Well, dramatic stuff here. The crowd really getting behind John White.
Oh!
What a comeback. 12-12, the score tied.
12-all from having this match sealed up. It's 12-all.
Well, John White 12-5 down. Back to 12-all.
Fantastic.
Everything he's possibly got, diving across the court, every shot available to him. This is absolutely incredible.
Oh! That stab volley. Beautiful.
Well, that little punch into the front corner that both players have conceal the most evil intent. And another dive. Wow. John White, the Nicolas Cage of the tour, the Nicolas Cage lookalike of the PSA tour, just scowling at the referee.
Yeah, a few choice words, I think, for the referee.
Well, I think he thought that he retrieved that and it went tight to the wall. And even though he was in the way, he still wanted Peter Nicol to have a go at it. But I think it was wishful thinking, really.
It is. It was.
Well,
he didn't clear that ball in time, and I think he's just frustrated by the outcome of that point when he worked so hard.
Well, even though this game still stands at 2-love. Well, these guys have only finished 2 games. It's gone on for 70 minutes. That's a marathon time for 2 games. Ah, John White, his favourite shot,
14-12.
cracking it into the tin. The crowd sighs as it gives Peter Nicol match point, 14-12.
I know Peter in match ball is going to get on his running shoes and pick up everything he can. And
well, Peter Nicol hitting the ball with a bit more penetration, taking the ball earlier, trying to catch his opponent unawares. But John White looking ragged. Still hitting great shots.
you know what, if Johnny could really sneak this game here, I think Peter might be laboring a little bit with this movement.
Fantastic drop shot from John White.
Oh.
Favouring his back, John White, just on the left-hand side. I wonder if that incredible dive he made earlier on in the game is taking its toll now.
I hope he didn't hurt himself, because that was just spectacular, and you wouldn't want to see a guy pull back from doing something like that. It just entertained everybody immensely.
Well, here we go. Peter Nicol's second match point, 14-12. John White going for it. There's no half measures with this guy. Match point down, still attacking. Oh, and he just clips the top of the tin. Going for a forehand cross-court nick. Both players bent double. What a match. Peter Nicol winning his third title at the Tournament of Champions. Beating John White in a fantastic match. 3-0. He is so happy. What a performance.
The 2004 Bear Stearns Tournament of Champions Squash Championships. Brought to you by Bear Stearns, Guinness, and Melita 1-to-1.
Our finalist, John White. This is his third time to take away our Tournament of Champions title. The great Peter Nicol.
Thanks, Don. I'm exhausted after that. I don't know how you feel, but another great week here. I think it's my 4th final in a row, and delighted to have won it. I'll feel better later, and I'm sure I'll be happier later. I'm just a bit emotional, a bit tired at the moment. But first of all, I'd like to thank Event Engine yet again. I mean, John, Don, Melissa, Zarlene, everyone else that's been helping out. All the other players, and I'd also just personally like to congratulate John on getting to #1 in the world. It's long overdue, and he deserves it.
John White, a fabulous effort reaching the final of the Tournament of Champions, but Peter Nicol played great today.
Yeah, he just got everything I threw at him. He just got back, and the tight ones he hit even tighter back. And there was a few short kills that I was getting winners off the last couple of games, the last couple of matches, and he just seemed to just keep on plugging away and just sticking it in play. And I think the hardest shots I tinned out were some of the easiest ones in the middle of the court, where I knew I had him running around, and I just thought I'd finish it off. But I was just clipping the top of the tin at the vital times, which that's exactly the way Pete plays. And you know, the first game could have gone either way, and then the second game, you know, it was 14-all. He called 3. I'm glad he didn't. Well, either way, if he had called 1, he would have won. But and then I was down 12-5 in the third, and I just thought, well, you know, I've got to give it my last and all. And I eventually got it back to 12-all, and just a couple of silly tins as well at 13-12 from the back of the court. And you know, I just sort of was a little bit eager to get an extra point just to keep the pressure on him. And but overall, I was very happy with the way the game went and the way I was playing. So, but full credit to Pete, and you know, he took it away, and it was good stuff.
So the second game looked crucial. You looked as though you were playing great squash, but just when you're making the opportunities, you're just clipping the top of the tin.
Yeah, there was. You know, I was just happy to just actually slow it down a lot more today, and just happy to keep him on the end of the long rallies and keep the rallies going. Then, as soon as I had the opening, I sort of went to go short, but just went too short a little bit too soon, and it just clipped the top of the tin where I didn't really need to put it that tight, and and they were crucial times. And I think the turning, not turning point, but if I had got the second game, it would have been 1-all, and we could have still been on playing now. It could have been a different result, but I can just go home, look at it, and analyse it and see where it was, and just see it was a little bit lazy in the middle of the court, but that was the pressure Pete was putting on me. But I wish I had got the second game, but has to be next year now.
So the first time in the final of the Tournament of Champions, also this week you found out that you got elevated to world number 1,
Yeah.
so you're going to go home with good memories of this week anyway.
Well, definitely, it was a bonus getting through the quarters and winning in the semis to get to my first final of the Tournament of Champions after about 6 tries, and to come away being the world number 1, which is an ultimate goal in anyone's career, which is even better. So I've got good memories from the whole tournament, even though I was runner-up, but it was my first final in the Super Series, and leaving as world number 1 is even better feeling. So I'm very happy, and a few beers tonight and celebration.
You can smile when you say world number 1.
Well, indeed,
it's yours now.
Exactly, I lost, but I'm world number 1, and it's just a great feeling, and I'm looking forward to having a bit of celebration about it.
Absolutely, I'll try and join you there.
I'm sure you will.
Well, congratulations on a great week and fantastic tournament.
Thanks, man. Cheers. Good on you. Thanks.
Peter Nicol, a fantastic performance. This tournament, four finals in a row, and this is your 3rd victory. You must be happy.
I am, yeah. I didn't think I'd ever win this tournament. 4 years ago, I hadn't even been in the final, and it was probably my worst performing tournament of the year. And then since then, I've been in 4 finals, won 3. So delighted, really delighted. And that match there as well, it was a credible pace. John really took it at me, but he made a few mistakes because the pace was so high. But delighted to win it in 3. I didn't want it to go to 4. I was really struggling physically at the end of that third there.
So you're put in a strange situation. You probably haven't beaten many number 1s in your career, primarily because you've been at number 1 so often, but John White obviously elevated to that position a couple of days ago, so still a good result.
No, he's not quite there yet. 1st of March. I'm still above him. I beat the number 3 today. No, it's a great result. And the thing is, I haven't beaten John for a while. I think in all the matches we played recently, and the last 2 years, I think he's won the 2 or 3 times we've played. So that was a big win for me to actually get it sort of. He's always very confident against me, and he's been playing extremely well. But there, it seemed to be that I just managed to do enough, put him away from the ball enough, and put him off balance enough for him to make mistakes. So, but no, great that I beat him for the first time in a couple of years. So.
You seem to be keeping the ball quite low so as not to give him anything to hit down on and use his great attacking game. Was that a tactic?
Yeah, it was. Basically, 2 things. It was like, even if I was going to go short quite badly, if it was early, I was going to do it to force him actually to keep the pace high and play shots when he didn't really want to. And also, rather than push it and hit it slowly, hit it low and hard. So even if it's half, 3/4 court, he can't hit down on it. He's going to have to hit flatter, which then means I'm going to get the ball back because the ball won't die as quickly. So that was a little bit of a tactic. The only problem with that is it ends up means you do a lot more running, a lot of work, and the pace was incredibly high. But what the hell?
So you've won this for the 3rd time. You've won World Championships, British Opens. You've been at number 1 for so long. Commonwealth gold medal. Where do you go from here?
Well, I think I'm 48 tour titles, major titles. So I want 50. So in 2 events' time, I'll retire. That'll be it. I'll be done. Now, just to enjoy myself. Really enjoy myself. I want to play until Commonwealth Games in 2006, which is 2 years to the day practically. So that's basically it. It's just for the next 2 years enjoying myself, playing squash, enjoying the places I'm at more, enjoying the tournaments, enjoying the people that are here, and enjoying my squash. And that's it. And if I end up playing well and winning, all the better. But primarily for me in the next couple of years, I want to enjoy myself around the world playing squash.
For being such a focused performer when you're younger, and now you've got a very relaxed attitude to playing, it's obviously a positive change for you.
I needed to. I couldn't keep. I was 12 years of being completely focused, and I just couldn't do it anymore. If I kept doing that, kept that intensity, I wouldn't be playing now. I don't think I would have stopped by now because it was just too much. And you've got to change, you've got to adapt, you've got to understand what you need to do. And I realised that I need to relax a bit more and adapt my training, adapt how I play and how I am at events as well. And if that means going out and having a couple of beers and relaxing, I need to do that. And instead of just closeting myself in my room and doing all the right things, supposedly. So for the right things for me now are different. And it's been working. I've won the last 2 events playing well. And I didn't even drop a game this event, It's getting easier.
Well, you were a joy to watch. You had a great tournament, and congratulations again. Thank you.
Pleasure.